parties in Ekurhuleni Council have launched a motion of no confidence against Mayor Dr. Nkosindiphile Xhakaza. They are accusing him of financial mismanagement. Joining us now, Jongizizwe Dlabathi, Ekurhuleni MMC for Finance. MMC, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. About a week ago, we would have seen a withdrawal of a motion of no confidence against the Speaker in your council. This was brought by the IFP. This time around, minority parties are bringing a motion of no confidence against the mayor. Does this spell some degree of instability in that council?
No, thank you very much, Prati, and thanks for the opportunity. We have been made aware, indeed, that there is a motion against the executive mayor. And I must say that at this point in time, we are unable to qualify it as the motion brought by the large number of minority parties, except for ICM, that has one seat in the council, and a motion of which was also seconded by the ACDP, a party that has about 2 seats in council. Obviously, we are quite concerned about the intent of the motion, because we strongly believe that the executive mayor is now leading a team that seeks to bring about stability in the seat of Ekurhuleni, to the extent that there's a bit of clarity in terms of the focus area, one of which is to ensure the sustainable provision of basic services. Secondly, to deal with the issue of the financial recovery. And thirdly, to make sure that we upscale our efforts on repairs and maintenance. Fourthly, also to deal with issues of local economic development around the growth and job creation. So we are quite concerned about the intent. We don't think that it is a genuine motion in terms of the issues that are being raised there. Safe to say that we'll have to deal with it at the point where the motion is in council.
Let's talk about those issues. I mean, one of them being neglect of his duties as mayor. The accusation is that he has at least gone off to 4 international trips within 6 months of assuming office. The first question would be, is that differing from usual practice? But 2, were all those trips not taken through council and approved in that particular space? And therefore, why minority parties was raised concern about those trips?
Yeah, it's entirely untrue that the executive mayor has neglected his responsibilities. In fact, with the fiasco that we had with the previous 2 executive mayor, this is the executive mayor that has brought about focus in the seat of Ekurhuleni, reintroduced service delivery war room, embarked on the mayoral outreach to go on the ground to address pressing issues of service delivery that needs immediate intervention, clearly focusing on the financial recovery of the city of Ekurhuleni, because for the past 2 years, it has been apparent that there's been a defocus on the financial part of the city, and the mayor is now dealing with those particular issues head on. So we don't believe that there are bases, as it relates to him neglecting his responsibilities. Secondly, like any other executive mayor or any, person who's responsible for a portfolio and stuff like that, the executive mayor gets to be invited into different platforms, platforms of which seeks to make sure that we as a city are able to draw lessons on some of the areas that warrants us to make improvements. So it is really unusual for the executive mayor, Metro in particular, to undertake official government trips. So we don't think that really it is genuine reason for them to make reference to that. You can go to the city of Tshwane, you can go to the city of Joburg. Mayors do travel as long as they follow proper procedure. In this regard, there is nothing untoward really about the executive mayor traveling 4 times.
Yeah. Good that we have you in place to put this question too, because one of the other issues they're raising is around financial mismanagement. One, they're saying the revenue enhancement strategy, which you're saying the mayor is overseeing, has failed. But number two, that the targets are being constantly missed. Number three, that there is a 2 billion rands shortfall in debt collection.
Yeah, so let me tell you that in the past 2 years, there was no revenue enhancement strategy and the revenue implementation plan that was presented in council. It is through the leadership of MMC, Alderman Nkosindiphile Xhakaza, that finally the council in the city of Ekurhuleni did approve the revenue enhancement strategy and put in place the plan. Now, in the last council meeting, we have articulated that the implementation plan will begin to realize the impact in the new financial year, because the plan in its nature, it looks at the medium and long-term activities. And as I speak to you, the administration is beginning to give effect to some of the initiatives that are related to the implementation plan. So it is fundamentally wrong to want to base a motion in that regard, because we have given a report that we will begin to realize an impact in the medium and long term. Secondly, it is only Alderman Xhakaza, in fact, whom, when we lost 2 billion in the first quarter, would have said that we must look at the matter deeply. So he has provided that political leadership to say it is unusual that when you are not collecting 2 billion, things must stay the same. We must then look deeper into the issue. And as I speak to you, Brati, in the last council meeting on Thursday, we submitted an item to council, an item of which pointed to us the mismanagement of the metering and the billing, which has resulted into us losing 2 billion. And we are now quite clear on what are the root causes. Amongst others, is the manipulation of about 1,660 accounts, is the deletion of about 1,403 accounts into the system. Now, all those things are happening at an administrative level, and you can't therefore point to the executive mayor, who in fact has been able to uncover this and said to us we must deal with it. And we are happy to say that council did approve that item with a recommendation that calls for the independent forensic investigation on what led to us not collecting the 2 billion, what happened to our internal control system with regards to the manipulation of account, and of course, calling for accountability at the level of management. Lastly, with regards to missing of targets, in the first quarter, indeed, we did miss our target by almost 5% overall. And we are quite concerned about that. But if you look at the second quarter, we were able to come closer to our revenue collection target. We are working very hard, Brati, to recover and make sure that we are in a better financial sustainable position. Myself, as the MMC, I am leading the roadshow that promotes Yakoka Tutuga. Secondly, we are intensifying our credit control. And thirdly, we will be pursuing the implementation of the revenue enhancement strategy to begin to realize revenue through other streams.
So there's this matter that keeps coming up when we are talking Ekurhuleni, and it is the non-payment, or if you like, the late payment in some instances of service providers, stalling some critical projects. For example, grass cutting is one of them, to the collection of waste being another area that becomes affected when service providers are being paid late. Now we've seen many rains, at least in the last couple of months. Certainly the roads are not looking as they should be looking in Ekurhuleni. Once again, raising questions of whether the deteriorating service delivery is attached to a deteriorating financial situation or instability, if you like.
We have admitted, Brati, that Ekurhuleni is not immune from the financial challenges, and that is why we are putting in place measures to protect revenue and to enhance revenue. And quite correctly, the extent to which you are collecting revenue has a direct impact on your ability to accelerate services. Now, at this point in time, we can't say that there is a crisis insofar as our ability to provide sustainable basic services and repairs. But of course, we are unable to do it at a faster pace, given the limitation in our financial resources. With regards to waste collection, for instance, we are now consistently collecting waste with minimal interruption on the part of paying our service provider. So you would not have had any issues, at least for the last 3 months, that we have not been able to pay for waste collection. So that on its own, there is stability. We accept that there would have been some challenges, particularly on grass cutting. And one of the issues that we are trying to address is the optimal utilization of our labor force, in that we no longer depend largely on the contracted services to deal with some of the core functions of the municipalities. And we can assure the citizens of Ekurhuleni that even with the next budget, they will see a greater change in that regard.
MMC, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. Let's leave it there for this hour. That's
Thank you very
MMC
much, Prati.
for Finance in Ekurhuleni, Jongizizwe Dlabathi. The news feed continues shortly. Stay with us.